joined by three more men in the cast, Maura Tierney, Christopher McDonald, and Courtney Vance. What is it like to work with the great Tom? Given that he's obviously feeling a little bit vulnerable about having to be what we need to be a great. Yeah, stage
I believe it Hank's the great. That's the way they refer to that.
I'll tell you, we laugh a lot. Between Tom and George C. Wolfe, we have laughed throughout the rehearsal process. It's been amazing, and of course, discovering new things and lifting the play up to a different level and making it our own at the same time. It's just been a really fun openly failing.
He really makes us all feel at ease. Tom is a master at just being himself, and we fall right into his little.
I just wish you weren't so late all the time.
Yeah, come on, let's hear some.
I will tell you, I don't know, these guys can like shave it so close that Maura gets yelled at for not signing in all the time. How many times is Maura Tierney? If she is, will she sign in? I'm here 45 minutes before anything.
It's true. It's up.
Because I got to make my Ovaltine.
Is it comforting working with four very strong actors?
Oh dear, our ensemble, which numbers 14, 10 other people on the show, I think it's a safe haven for us all. I think we all get to come in and.
But you don't get a break. I'm sorry. I know you don't want us to do this, but I'm just saying. We all get a little bit of a respite, but Tom has to deal with all of us for every second.
McAlery's on stage a lot,
and it must be fun and hard though, because it's all these different actors and all this energy and all these personalities, and you have to.
But I get to look forward to each segment as it rolls along. Like there's a moment where I have a big thing with you, and then I have a big thing with Courtney, and I have a big thing with Chris. Peter comes and goes, mumbling other people's lines through the course of the show. That's what the piece is. I have to say, I think we all look forward to coming to work every day. Thus far.
Maura, you played Alice, who's the wife of McAlery, and she actually came, his widow, to see the play recently. What was that like for you knowing that?
Well, I had met her briefly. We rehearsed for about a month, and then I decided I wanted to meet her just to meet her without having it affect what we were working on in the room. And she's a lovely, very intelligent woman who's lovely. And she said, I'm coming to the show March 16th. And I said, okay, and I clocked that away, that Alice was coming March 16th, but Alice came March 9th. So I was really thrown. But I think she liked it. I think that she liked it.
And she had her youngest,
her youngest,
both
her oldest.
Ryan and Quinn
who are mentioned in the show, obliquely, but very importantly.
Yeah, and she was very moved, and I think it was important for me.
I don't know how you do that, honestly. How do you do that?
I don't know. You know what she said? I wish I could just take him home for a night.
Is that what you said?
That's sweet. Yeah. Oh, dear. They're weeping.
Yeah, sorry. But she did it.
Because you bear an uncanny resemblance to him.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a bit more thick.
He was very tall. The thing that everybody told me about McAlery, everybody who knew him, is as soon as he walked in the room, you thought he was a cop. There was a big, impressive, foreboding demeanor to him.
I mean, he's not designed to be a particularly likable character. He's a rough and tough tabloid crime reporter at a time when, as you say, they had huge power. Playing somebody who's not designed to be that likable, a bit of a departure for you. Did you find that difficult?
No, because I understand the desire to be in the game, and I understand the competitive aspect of it. I think we are all competitive to a degree, and I think we all would kill for these kind of assignments. I could string together sentences, but they might not make any sense. I would need an expert editor like Courtney Vance.
Well, Courtney, you played the editor. Do you think he would have, after all the time we spent together, would he have made a good tabloid crime man?
I don't know if I would be able to deal with that schedule that they have, that daily pressure.
Maura, you yourself went through a cancer battle. Your performance is very raw and very emotional on there, almost as if you're slightly remembering yourself what it was like.
I think that people put that on me, to be quite honest. I mean, I think I'm just trying to do my job, and I think if that's a perception to be put on it, that I'm not acting, I mean, I would like to think that I'm acting.
We get to hear her, as Alice say, after you've been through much, life is supposed to be grand. And to be able to be backstage, I think we can all relate to that concept witnessing going through something, that is tough. And then after that, where's the reward? Where's the reward? Where's my badge?
I mean, that's what the story is.
Yeah.
That's the storytelling, and which is what I'm trying to do. Which I guess everybody's life is, everyone's life informs the work that they do.
To have that power to reduce people to tears, which you've done in many of the movies you've made, it's quite something to have that. I mean, I go to a movie a week.
It's all about the piece. I mean, it's all about what everybody else has gone through. I mean, I don't know. Courtney did 9,000 performances of Fences or something. About as serious as an undertaking as you're going to get. And I think we've all been able to be in things that you just give yourself over to. The images of what the person who created it was, and the bosses who put it all together. We're all part of this kind of like palette.
Some actors say they, and it's the reason I asked you the question I asked you actually, is that they think when they have to be emotional in a stage play or a movie, they force themselves to think about sad things that have happened in their lives, or tragic or dramatic. Do you ever do that?
No, it's all about what the piece is. I think when you're younger, before you have that kind of life experience, that's a way that you could, that's a means to an end. But as you, look, I'm 56. We've all.
I'm not.
We've all. You've taken this
That's a line from the play.
co-ed and brought her. We dyed her hair to make her look older. But now you're involved in what the story itself is, and look, if anything, it is the emotional core of all of this. It's what Nora's vision and sensibility was, and her translating of the Mike McAlery story.
When we come back, a question that all women have wondered for years: is Tom Hanks a good kisser? I asked someone who knows the answer, and it may surprise you. Welcome back. Tom Hanks' Broadway debut may never have happened if the script hadn't been written by his late great friend, Nora Ephron. Now he tells me why he loved working with her so much. It's an amazing script, the richness of the writing. Why do you think Nora, you knew her as well as anyone, why do you think she got so entranced?
I feel bad for everybody else because I did know Nora, and if you guys had met her, I mean, we worked in the workshop of her
10 minutes.
A year ago, and I'll have to say that Nora was a journalist in the best sense that a journalist could be. She was fascinated by what people did. She was completely entertained by human folly, and I think she was genuinely impressed and moved by human achievements. And I think that's what this play is. I think that's what all of her writing has been about, and certainly the films that I was able to be a part of. Nora could look, in this case, what all of our characters that she knew have. She knows Eddie. I bet you she knows.
She knew Daly a little bit, not.
And she interviewed Alice, for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours. And so her fascinating with the way these people in lives intersected around Mike McAlery, I think she knows that was a unique thing that can only happen with very specific people, and it could only happen in a very specific time in the potboiler atmosphere of New York tabloids.
Christopher, you bring a lovely light touch. But when you come out, everyone goes crazy.
For some reason.
You play.
We were all
Yeah.
We're all perplexed by this reaction.
You play this cunning lawyer doing these great deals. Because Mike McAlery, the fascinating thing about it was he was this kind of almost $1 million hack. He was getting these huge contracts through his smart lawyer to be this top dog crime reporter, switching between the news and the Post and so on. Tell me about the role you play.
I play Eddie Hayes, which is he is a phenomenal lawyer in New York. He handled the big World case and made himself a household name that way in New York. He wrote a great book called Mouthpiece, which has been my Bible. He befriended Mike McAlery as he wanted to live in a house that I was selling out in Bellport. Changed his life in that he had to make more money to afford this lifestyle for his wife and kids because Alice deserved that life. And in that, he became the highest paid. It took all the work that he did, but the highest paid journalist in New York City, and bigger than his idol.
And the fall that everybody else benefited from.
Absolutely.
The pay.
Yeah.
Daly and Hap and everybody through that connection. It was good.
That's right. That's right. It started paying more money for writers.
And quite right too. Yeah. Courtney, you're married to a very famous actress and performer. Has any of the views of all of you changed about tabloid?
No, it hasn't softened my fury. I think we just try to keep a low profile as we can. Just do what we do and scurry away. And, I think TMZ, is at the airport waiting for us.
I would have to say that celebrities are a dime a dozen. Honestly, I don't. You can do almost anything to become a celebrity now. I think the price has gone down. There was I don't want to tell a huge story here, but there was one time where I cornered a guy who was photographing. I was just out walking my dog. And I said, dude, who cares about me and my dog? He said, oh, I was actually trying to get somebody else's picture and you walked by. But I sat him down. I said, look, okay, how does this work exactly? And I got him to confess to me that on a good year as a celebrity photographer, this was years ago, on a good year, he could make $1.5 million from his surreptitious photograph.
It would be a good reporter.
Okay, all right. And I said, okay, that's a good year. What's a lousy year? What's just a standard year? He says a standard year is about $150,000 a year.
Wow.
Now, I guarantee you that guy doesn't make that money anymore because the pictures aren't that valuable.
But do you, as some do you resent the attention of paparazzi?
No.
Or are they part of the business?
Part of the business.
You're dashing off for it, leaving me with the chat. But
I do.
before you go, you did kiss Tom Hanks.
Several times.
Is he a good kisser?
Yeah.
How good?
So.
Should
we leave? We'll leave.
No. There's a passion in the McLaren marriage, right?
Absolutely. No hesitation. I said yes.
You'll get to kiss him, sort of work it out, probably another 500 times.
Well, let's see. There's Act 1.
There's Act 1.
And 2 at the bar. There's a couple of bedroom smooches.
Sometimes in
Not bad.
Belfort Kitchen, not always.
She actually has a bunch of lips stamps and she X's out one.
It's like an advent calendar. For kissing.
That's right.
All right, you are excused after that. Painful dissection of kissing talents. Thank you very much.
I
We love Maura.
love the guy.